So away we go. Opening bounce. The umpires this afternoon, Meredith, Ryan and Keating. Down goes Maloney.
No chance.
In the headlines
Let him run,
throughout the week.
Thank you. Thanks, Brent.
No longer a vice captain.
Let him run.
Jamar and Smith. Jamar decisively. Stolen away, though, by Brennan. The high ball goes down just inside the 50. Reaching over the top was Dixon. Knocked it in front. Stealing it away, Davey. Feigns a hand pass into all sorts of trouble. Advantage is paid. Comes to Matera. He's a dead-eye Dick Matera, and this is no exception. Tension, but it looked good enough. Sylvia's got it now.
And comes very wide. Morton's on the burst. Just inside the 50. Jarrah's short. He's got him.
Let's state it, don't blame Hunt for that one. Hunt came off.
Against the Lions. It's the only time in any match he hasn't scored a goal. It's been a remarkable start to his career. 17 matches, 41 goals, including equal career high last week. And he's timed it sweetly. He's on the board early today. So Fraser at the back of Martin. And then Maloney bashing and crashing his way through. Dunn read it very well.
On the 50, right out.
Just work tape out of it.
50, run through the mark.
That was Carmichael Hunt, was he? He said he was following Green through. But you've got to be a metres behind if you're following them through. Let's see what happens.
He's... No, stay out. Yeah, it's fine.
Green went behind, he went in front.
Run straight through the mark.
And so Dunn kicks that goal.
Thanks, guys.
So great to have Sean Hart as part of the telecast today. Maloney's little kick forward. Gets it inside the 50. Bennell just eludes Harbrow and then leans back with a good-looking kick to full forward. He's got it. He's kicked a goal in every game so far. That's a beauty.
Yeah, just at the moment, that efficiency of Melbourne, they've only gone inside 55 times, but they've kicked 3 goals, so their forward 50 work has been good. But again, it's a centre bounce clearance. It's just amazing how, well, not amazing, but if you get the ball forward out of the centre bounce, it just gives your forwards every chance against usually an equal number of defenders. And the forwards should read that quick kick out.
Goes down towards full forward. Telling time. Well, 2 veterans go at it. Well played by Bock. Kicks it out towards half-back. Storming up the ground was Tapscott. He knocked over an opponent there in Stanley. Brilliantly picked up by Jarrah. Gives it to Jones. Jones goes down towards full forward. Jamar. Was that unrealistic? No, he was pushed under the ball, apparently.
Here we see the 2 Gold Coast players. It's all right if both players are going to the footy. Every now and again, teammates might collide, but this was Bock really just didn't want Jamar to jump. Just the slight hand in the back that just eased him forward, and really a clear free kick if the umpire sees that kind of contact.
And Jamar, one of those guys who can go forward and kick a goal. We've seen it several times. But he was a second stringer. Now his confidence is a lot higher, and he puts it through. Nice goal, and the margin over a goal. Falling back is Fraser, tries to get it out of there. Jamar flicked it to Gisberts. I like Gisberts. Did well to Maloney, to Sylvia, 55 metres out, giving it a ride. Floats towards the opposite pocket and Green. So young Tape has got his hands full.
That's your line. Brad, your line's here.
Now Green, a pronounced left footer. This will test him. He's very conscious of Bock. You can see Bock in the foreground, off the line by about 10 metres. Around on the right boot, if you don't mind. Green, he puts it through for a goal. Melbourne kick further away. They're up by 16.
Goals on the board now. Melbourne have got the 16-point lead, and it's where the psychology, you don't start to lose hope, and that's Gold Coast's challenge. Melbourne.
What a stalwart he's been. Jared Rivers, oft injured. He kicks it long down towards half forward. Bock was up, knocked away by Trengove, taken by Martin, touched off the boot from behind Wanamiri, the big lead. Trengove is through, like him from here. Trengove kicks a goal.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a reasonable scoring game. I mean, both sides, actually, even the Gold Coast look dangerous when they get the ball deep in their forward.
Give it up and what they've scored themselves. Davey on the overlap. Wanamiri, the ball wasn't there in time. Oh, bad luck for Melbourne. horn sounded. The ball was in flight. Melbourne 6-2. Gold Coast Suns are 3-2 at quarter time. So the margin 18 points. The telecast. It had rained earlier, but it wasn't raining at the time. Work that out. Jamar with the run. Smith knocks it down. Oh, status quo. Maloney digs it out of the middle. Bock goes up and punches it down. Code's got it. Immediately attracts the crowd.
Made no attempt to get rid of the footy.
No, the umpire had to say no compassion there for Code. So Trengove, who's almost the equal of Maloney so far, has got the football about 70 metres out from goal. Jara. Hard to stop that.
That's where the Gold Coast defence has, that exactly where we mark the ball. You have to have a defender out there on that 45. Once the full forward leads from the goals, well, so there's a great shot. See, when he goes left, there should be a Gold Coast player in that vicinity, and they were in that area of the ground, but they were watching the ball. They weren't watching where it was going. They did not help Hunt at all.
So was that Swallows' fault? Was he too far up the ground?
I suspect so. Whether it was, but they had this place where we got the footy is the leading space you got to cover.
That's right. Just clog it up. If you watch the replay, you'll see number 24 running back belatedly. There goes the Jara kick, and he puts it through. So
because he doesn't very often kick inaccurately.
No, beautiful finisher. Sylvia kicking forward. Wanamiri onto it. Smith takes him on, gets the handball, holding the ball. He tried to break the tackle.
Yeah, I think handball, or an illegal handball, in fact.
Well, this was the goal sneak, wasn't it, before Jara came along? Wanamiri kicked over 20 goals in his first season. Didn't play at all in his second. Injured, only 8 games last year. That one across the face. He's had a tough old time, Wanamiri, with his Maloney. And then Martin just gets away from Tate. Martin inside, Bale, back to Morton, check side. Behind. 106 centimetres he is. England have got a very tall striker, Peter Crouch, but you'd have to think he was a goalkeeper in soccer. He's just, but he's so athletic, he might be able to do anything. Prestia down low. Speaking of tall to the little fella, Prestia, the tiniest guy out there today. Well done, Sylvia. Bale arched his back, and that's a good kick to Dunn. Got him to the right side.
Last week, Bruce Prestia got a lot of the football. He had 21 possessions, but today he's been quiet, just 3. And that's the problem, too, inconsistency. These young fellas, they sort of fluctuate greatly.
To be honest, Maloney, he's getting all the inside stuff that Harris and Prestia are probably there. And, of course, no Ablett today in the centre square, which would make, you'd hope, a difference. So Dunn, who kicked 3 goals at the Gabba last year against the Lions, drills at home. So he's got a couple of early goals. Continues to impress and emerge. Just saw Daniel Harris getting a kick. So his role will be pretty important in and under. Now Rivers, who's just able to elude everything there. And then Jones. And then Jones with a long, low kick. Good one to Green. It's a beautiful kick. And Green's mark, he protected the ball so well. He's capable from here. Talking about soccer players, apparently he was a real star as a kid.
This is really one-on-one in the forward lines, isn't it? Neither defence is helping out their fellow defenders really well at the moment. It's just a question, can the forward find the spot and can the kick find them?
Well, he's sitting on 299 career goals, and that's a lovely kick. What a beautiful bad luck. Gee, he kicked it well before they went to the same school in Adelaide. Bale with a long ball to full forward. Green will leave it for Jamar. Bock did well. Jara was lurking. Bock keeps his head over the top. Jara was clever there. Davey, that was brilliant by Davey. And then Jara gives it to Morton. Left foot floating kick. Goal. Gee, that was a good team effort. Davey and Jara, very clever and close.
Far forward. Code's in the way. Miscues with a kick. After it, Wanamiri just forward of the wing. 2 men to choose from. He goes to Jones. Now he'll try and draw him out and pop it over to Sylvia. Well, he should have. He goes for goal. Well, maybe not.
Can he jump? That ability to be behind Jara, but just leap, vertical leap, get his hands higher. He's got a great athletic ability. There's not many can do that.
All's well that ends well. Jara's taken the mark, but Sylvia's not a happy camper. He didn't get the ball in.
Get another midfielder popped forward of the play. Both sides are playing pretty optimistic in their forward push.
So Jara lining up at his 3rd here. He's a goal-kicking machine. He's on song for a career best.
So many weapons, Chara, hasn't he?
Yeah, but this ability to jump from the back position, that's a great shot of it. I mean, most players are going to try and force Hunt under the footy.
Gisbert's down low. Prestia again. And then Russell. Handball inside. So Prestia's got busy in the last minute. He dropped it. Good tackle from Grimes. Had a bad hamstring last year. Grimes missed most of the second half of the year. Fine player.
Benella, centre half back, is away. Martin's on the other side. He's got it now, and he's agile for a big man. Swallow bearing down. Martin needed help. Gives it to Rivers. Short one is on Wanamiri. So Wanamiri is directly in front, about 35 metres out.
And we see Brad Green there running left. He was expecting he'd get the hand pass running onto his left foot, but Martin went back, got himself into trouble, but fortunately he had the supporting players around him to set it up.
Testing times these, the last 6 minutes of the term for Gold Coast, as Melbourne are getting a run on. Wanamiri's kick is good. So this margin's starting to blow out. Campbell Brown in front, but nobody safe. There goes the kick from Maloney down towards half forward. Green, what a terrific grab. Stepped around an experienced player there in Code and took the mark.
Code really looked for Green, didn't he? If Code had the better position if he was going to try and go for the ball, but as soon as he looked for Green, he just got completely out of position. Sometimes they say defenders still have to play the ball on the merit. Your opponent can't mark the footy if you've got two hands on it.
Last time he tried for his 300th goal, he hit the post. Let's see what he can do from here. Much easier kick, this one. Man on the mark at about 45. Green runs to the 50. Gives it a ride. It's off, I think, to the left. It's working back. Now, that is hard to do. Both posts.
Dave Matera goes inside to Tape. And then Gisbert. That's a good pick up. Bale. Well done. Sidestep. Handball. Green. There's your 300. No. He's got the yips.
He has. He knows the milestone is coming. Bob goes to Davey. Confronted by Shaw, back to Grimes, slips over on his knees, gets a hand pass away. Kick comes in from Morton on the lead, Sylvia.
Here it is.
That was in the middle of a lot of Suns players. All he could do, Morton, was just take a reasonable amount of inside 50 marks.
So, Gold Coast on the ropes for the moment, and Sylvia can add to their woes. This would make the margin 51 points. So at the halfway mark, 51. Do your math. There goes the kick from Sylvia, and it misses to the near side. So missed the man. The man missed it close to the centre square, and there's the siren for half-time. So Melbourne getting a surge on, approaching the major break. 11-9-75 over the Gold Coast 4-5-29. The margin was 18. At quarter time, it's now 46, and Gold Coast no strangers to this position. So let's see what the second half has in store. This is Sunday footy with a chance to do more damage. Second half befuddling. Jack Watts is still the sub. Knocked down by Jamar, taken by Trengove. Floats one down towards Jara. Fist came over the top. That was well played by Hunt. He timed it beautifully, but roving the pack is Jones. Looks back inside the forward 50. Wanamiri scuttles towards the boundary. Slipped over. Toy's got him. Wanamiri the hand pass. Sliding in was Code. Loose ball at the back. High tackle on Riscatelli.
Now with some space. In fact, has that bounce. Gets to about 45 metres. Fraser in pursuit. Wanamiri and Sylvia, the two flyers. And Davey on the wrong side for him. But he's a skillful player and finishes with an early goal.
Yes, well, they brought the ball out of defence from that free kick, but again, while they kicked the ball long to the wing, it was basically a 2-on-1 against. They just didn't get any coordination. We see here there's a 2-on-1. Eventually, Frawley gets it, decides to take off with the footy and drives. Well, this is the perfect place to land the long kick. Just outside the top of the goal square, which means if it comes to ground, it's very hard to force it behind. And if the offensive team gets it, you've got a point-blank range to score from. A perfect spot to drop the long kick into your forward line.
So the Demons have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals. Here's Richo.
Got nothing here, man.
Doesn't encourage me too much. Richards across to Swallow. Swallow back to Riscatelli. He kicks inside the forward 50 on. Nice mark.
Yeah, the very early stage, but young Dixon looks like if he doesn't take the mark, he's not going to do anything else. Got to take a lot of marks if you're that type of forward at any age.
So Frawley in the back part this time after setting up the previous goal. Garland in short. Bartram. Melbourne dominating the early stages of this second half. Sylvia on the burst. Kicks to centre half forward. Well played, Wanamiri. Jarrett took it brilliantly. Give to Davey. Davey. Sylvia started it. And they like the post today, don't they, the D's? Only boundary rider that brings his own toolkit with him.
When he said nothing, he meant sound. Not that he had no content. Always brings the content. Here's Trengove with the left boot. And this one wanders and hits the post again. This is amazing. What's the record, Bruce? I think it's...
You told me 11 once, but I didn't quite believe you.
No, it was 16. It was more than 11. Yes, it's amazing. Tate kicks in and the mark is taken by Trengove.
It's funny, I don't forget anything my wife tells me, but I forget a few things you've said over the years.
Trengove goes long down towards full forward. You told me to bring Stubb. Oh, we're on record pace. This is amazing.
It's a disease. It's a disease.
Richo, get around and interview that goal umpire. He is connected down there, the goal umpire.
I had to get rid of it in a hurry. He got it from Shaw. And then Jamar to Davey, to Jones. Gee, that's a great kick in heavy traffic. And Morton kicks his second goal today.
Well, it's interesting. Didn't really have an impact in either one of the first two games. But today, as the sub, has been terrific. Gisberts gives it across to Sylvia. Inside the forward 50. Bock knocked it down. Will the drought end here? Green spins around, lines up his 300th and misses. He even missed the post.
I think most of us thought it would be a 15-goal margin at some stage in the second half. Tapped by Bernal. Good pick up, Sylvia. Then ran into some traffic. Oh, brilliant stuff, Sylvia. Everything he did there was first class. Got it to Wanamiri. And then Wanamiri running on was Maloney. And Maloney, he's had quite a third quarter. Magnificent start to this match.
Got to turn the contest wins round, don't they, Melbourne, to get back in control of the game. I think we saw it on the screen before, 30-24 down so far in this third quarter. So Gold Coast had a good patch because they've been winning the footy, the basis of the game.
And Maloney, good kick. He's on the way to maybe 3 Brownlow votes today. Good goal. So far in his short career, keeps it low to Wanamiri. Toy at the back. Sylvia, well played, Sylvia. Gee, that was ambitious. This would be some goal if he can kick it. Doesn't, goes to the top of the square. And Davey, bit too easily. One on the right, one on the left in the second half. So he gets his second.
Sylvia took it on, carried the footy, was able to actually miss a couple of tackles. Those missed tackles, you need the body strength. And this is where Davies, again, just the body strength. That was just a classic case of a couple of Melbourne players. Not a big, strong man, Aaron Davies, but a bit stronger than his direct opponent in this contest.
Coming straight back.
Davey with the last goal.
Good hands. Gets it across to Harris, too slow. That was poor. Maloney cut it off. Now Martin steaming through the centre to Rivers, and then Rivers' kick is a beauty and finds Davey, who's become the goal kicker in this third quarter.
Yes, you try to run the ball through the centre square there. Every now and again you get it through, but gee, more often than not when you turn it over, you just got so much on the rebound. But I guess where Gold Coast are as a footy club, they've got to play optimistic footy. Take a chance, might get turned over, might get scored against, but you've just got to have a positive approach to it all.
So Davies turned back the clock in this term as a goal-kicking small forward. He's kicked a couple, misses that. Well, what an entertaining quarter of footy. I reckon the best the Gold Coast have played in their 3 matches to date. They got the scoreboard.
This last quarter, whether they can muster something after their coach wants a better effort. Davey was busy in that third term. Away we go. Jamar knocks it down. Comes across to Swallow from Brennan. Carmichael Hunt. Gee, since halftime he's been very good. He goes out wide towards right half forward. Russell with the run of it. Still Russell over the football. Now he's holding it. I think he's holding it.
On the ball. He went to ground with it. Must get it out.
Tapscott will get the free.
Sub out, you reckon?
Oh, no, I don't think so much it's the sub thing, but yeah, he's on the fringe in the Melbourne side, I would have thought.
Smith was clean bowled. Davey, exquisite for behind. But the thing is, we were talking on radio yesterday, weren't we? Sean, thanks for your time. Some insights there from the Gold Coast. Sean Hart, we thank him. And you've got reason to thank him a bit too, Lee. He was a great player for you, wasn't he?
Wonderful player.
Wanamiri gets through, lines up. This one is bending back. He's got the goal. His second.
Yes, a lot of clubs would like a Sean Hart. His work ethic made a lot of good offensive players. He made up for sometimes their lack of work off the footy. His chasing, tackling, pressuring work was fantastic. But certainly Melbourne.
Looks like he might be done for the day. Fraser went up early. Wanamiri with a couple of goals. Well done, Maloney on Swallow. Swallow getting better as the match goes on. Martin inside to Bale. Maloney, what a day he's had. Maloney kicks to centre half forward beautifully to another guy who's had a big match. Both Maloney and Trengove honing in on career best. Maloney's 38's his best. He's at 30, and Trengove, I think, was 26, and he's at 25 now.
I don't know where the great habits are created. We see Trengove, who marked the footy. I think he started in the centre bounce. There's a lot of midfielders who I think in both sides that if their teammate looks like getting the ball, they're just taken off into the forward 50, playing pretty optimistically.
So had a terrific match, Trengove, and gets a second goal.
Games, of course, that's the problem.
Grimes off hands to Martin. Garland. Grimes just runs unchecked around the back of the pack. Looks towards the middle, two to choose from. Gisberts did very well. Blocked an opponent. Green took the mark. Gave it to Jones. He's through and he's kicked another one. So they're rolling now, the Demons.
With the ball back inside, good solid mark. He gave the ball to Jones. It looked like Prestia had him in the tackle. I often talk about missed tackles. We have tackling stats, but missed tackles, terribly costly.
He's had a good day, Jones. Kicked 4 goals here for the Demons against the Lions on this ground. Done. But Marcus Greshkoff did say Harpau's first job was to defend and then attack, so maybe he's been doing a lot more of that. So Bale goes to full forward. J-Mark.
Just Carmichael Hunt. Yeah, well, he might be playing on J-Mar right at this point of the game, but as soon as J-Mar worked his way to the front, well, there was no way that that Hunt had the overhead stretch.
And goal kicking ruckman, Leo, we're seeing a lot of it this year.
Well, they're having to actually go into the forward line to get time on the field with this one less interchange, so that gives them a chance.
Any big guy that can take a mark and kick a couple of goals there, worth their weight in gold. J-Mar's done that today.
See the long kick in and it just...
him. He does. Now Frawley looks up. Does he go to the front of the square? He does. J-Mar held. No free kick. Bit unfortunate. Maloney, what a day he's had. Trying a check side and just missing.
Loves that situation. Swallow in hard. Denied Sylvia. Hand pass comes from Davey to Maloney. He has another shot. Going back, the mark is taken by Green a metre out. But he wasn't in the goal square, so he'll have a very sharp angle.
Yeah, you're right on the line, so your line is here. So just, that's the line here.
I don't think this will bother him too much.
He'll think his way through this.
He's kicked 1-4, still going at his 300. And he's done it this time. That's about, what, 5th time lucky.
Well, he kicked that goal down the opposite end of the field. It would have been in the second quarter. Exactly the same one. Had a left foot to the boundary line or to the goal line, but he just knew that as soon as you can actually get between the point post and the goal post, if you take just one step out, just the angle opens up enormously, and as long as you can just have a good controlled kick, this is a good mark on the goal line, as we saw. So he thought his way through it extremely well and executed.
It's actually quite exciting as the short one comes from Garland. Does that make sense? Bale's got it. He goes long down towards full forward. Green sets himself in front, almost the mark. Trengove, little look away hand pass. Wanamiri in one direction, Shaw in the other, picked up by Toy. Only as far as Grimes. Hand passes to Sylvia. He goes bang. and gets the goal.
Yes, the ball's being played in the forward half, and yes, I guess a bit like Chisholm. They're falling away now, and unfortunately they're going to fall away in different stages of the game, but there has been some more optimism today. I saw them play last week, got beaten by 80 points, so you thought, and even Bulldogs I don't think were happy with the way they played, and Melbourne are probably going to win by the 80-odd points, but the Gold Coast...
Bales had a big last quarter. Sylvia's had a magnificent second half. That one just askew. Green. He's got the ball in front of his spots today, Green.
Hasn't he?
Good mark. He protects the ball well when he goes from Mark Green.
And he went to him then, Sylvia thought he might have had the 40-metre shot from straight in front. This is much harder goal.
Well, inside, and Morton's going to get a third by the look of it.
Yeah, that's not a part of the ground you should be able to find a teammate when you're hemmed in on the forward pocket.
No.
But they're the kind of mistakes that happen. Like
A number is a big thing. He was a number 4 draft pick, Morton, but he sort of doesn't have to carry that as much as a teammate of his. He's got 3 today. That's a good result.
Into space, perfect centre bounce hit.
Yes, textbook stuff. So was that. To the back of the pack. Bale runs a long way, settles and kicks another one. Wonderful by Jamar twice.
And they've completely taken over. Something to get to fatigue. The younger bodies will fatigue more than the mature players. I wondered whether the humidity might help the home team, but the Melbourne sort of maturity of their group, they've just completely dominated this last piece of the game.
So Sylvia, he's having a second half like Maloney's first half. Frawley, and Frawley heard the umpire. Burnell within range, coming back, just missing.
Go with it.
He's going down towards the 50. Well, first things first.
Got to take it first.
That's
yeah.
right. It's got to come back to him. So there's the final siren. An interesting exercise this afternoon. 23-21 to 9:15. Melbourne over the Suns on Sunday Football.